There are a couple other things to keep in mind as a difference maker. Number one, take reflection time. At the end of every day, before I go to bed, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. Not only will it help you sleep better, but it'll help put your mindset on the things that were good about your day. It's always easy to think of the negative things, but we have to put our mind on the things that are good about being an educator. Number 2, be a reader. Stay on top of things that are happening in your field. Stay on top of things that are going on in your classroom. Stay on top of things that are going on as an administrator. Read about those things and know where to go to get answers when you need them. Number 3, have balance in your life. Plan for ways to keep balance in your life. What do you like to do? Take the time and plan to do it. Number 4, build accountability into your life. Find someone else that you trust who will speak the truth into your life. Have them hold you accountable for the kind of educator that you are. Have someone who will lovingly speak truth into your life, because after all, you never know whose life you may be touching. When I was 36 years of age, I wanted to be 3 things. I wanted to be married, I wanted to be in ministry, and I wanted to be a mama. And at 36 years of age, none of that was happening. It wasn't for a lack of looking, if you know what I mean. When I was teaching first grade, the second year I taught first grade, this beautiful little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy walked into my classroom. I'll never forget it. He had on little oshkosh-begosh overalls and little red tennis shoes and long blonde curls. And I bent down and he stuck out his hand and he said, "Hi, my name is Sean." And I thought, well, hi, Sean. I thought you were the cutest little thing I have ever seen in my life. And then I looked up and I saw Daddy, and I knew why he was so cute. But there was more to this daddy than just being cute. He was a single father, and he was raising this little boy. Because when this little boy was just 3 years old, his mom looked at the little boy and looked at the dad, and she said, "I don't want you, and I don't want him." And she walked out to a crack cocaine addiction, and she never looked back. This little boy used to sit in my classroom, and every Monday we would write in our journals. You know what that looks like. You know more about families than you would ever want to know on Monday morning when they write in their journals. Sean would write things in his journal like, "This weekend I hit a home run. My daddy was so excited. I wish I had a mama who could have been there to see it. This weekend my daddy and I went on a picnic, and he makes the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I wish I had a mama who could make sandwiches for me." It would break my heart. And I used to sit and I used to think, I don't know who this little boy is going to have for a mama, but I hope he has the best mama that he could ever dream of. Well, that daddy was single and I was single, and he used to ask me out all the time. It was back in the day, if you remember, teachers, when we wore the jumpers with the big plaid dresses and the big apples on our necklace. We thought we looked good, didn't we? But he used to tell me, "I thought you were the hottest dresser," and I thought, really? But he used to ask me out all the time, and I'd say, no, I don't date my dads. Well, fast forward 10 years later, I finally got engaged to a guy who wanted to build a swimming pool, and I remembered that this single daddy built swimming pools. I called him up and I said, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I taught your son in first grade." And he said, "Oh, of course I remember you. Are you still single?" And I thought, are you still desperate? But I didn't say it. I said, "No, I'm getting married." And he said, "Oh, I thought this was your way of finally coming to me." Listen, ladies, if you have a little boy, don't ever let him use that line on a woman. It'll work every time. Well, I found out some things about this guy that I knew I couldn't marry, and I broke off the engagement. And I went to see my little 83-year-old grandmother, and she said, "Shannon, there's not anybody." I said, I don't think I'm going to do this. I don't think there's anybody. But I told her about calling the pool guy, and she said, "Oh, we like the pool man." And I thought, now how am I going to call him up after I just told him no? Well, I was a counselor, and we needed some help from seniors at our school, and I knew Sean was a senior. So I kind of used him as a ruse. Well, I did use him as a ruse, and I called David up asking to have Sean come to our school to help. And the first thing out of his mouth is, "So, how are you doing?" And I said, "Well, things are going a little differently than last time we talked." And he said, "Oh, it's my birthday. I would love for you to come and join Sean and I for my birthday tonight." Honey, that is the fastest I have ever thrown my clothes on, thrown makeup on, got in the car, and shoo, I was there. And when I walked up to the door, Sean opened the door. He was now 17, and besides your kid, he's the best looking thing I've ever seen in my life. And when he opened the door, he shut it, and he trapped me behind the door, and he said, "So, do you like my daddy?" I said, "I don't know, honey. I just got here." But anyway, we went out to dinner, and to make a long story long, 6 months later, his dad and I were engaged. And that little boy who never had a mama, I never had any children, but I wanted them. I had hoped for the best mama for that little boy, and now I have the privilege of being his mom. And here's the great part about this story. Sean used to sit in my classroom, and he would fly his fingers like an airplane, not paying one bit of attention to anything I was saying. And I'd have to say, "Shannon Perry, land that plane," and he'd bring it in for a landing. I got to watch him walk out of the tunnel at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I remember when he came out in that uniform with all of his soldiers, and they were down on the field, and somehow he found me up in the stands. And he looked up, and he pointed at me, and he put his hand over his heart, and he said, "I love you, Mom." And I looked back down at him, and I said, "I love you, Shannon Perry." You see, there are many, many lives that you have touched this year or you will touch who will be sitting on that field. And as you're sitting up in the stands, they'll be saying, "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me when they told me I couldn't do it. Thank you for not telling me that I could fail this class and you just write me off. Thank you for that morning that I came from home and I had the worst morning and you gave me a hug. Thank you, thank you, and thank you."